At the beginning of the episode, we see Sasaki. Friends, she's Yuji's classmate from school, and Yuji was also part of her occult club. Here, Kenjaku appears in front of her and tells her that he is a sorcerer. He has created a barrier in this colony, and inside it, the culling game will be played. A short distance from here, there's an execution ground that serves as the center point of this barrier. And this barrier is about 5 to 6 kilometers wide. Kenjaku worked very hard to create these barriers, but he cannot force anyone to stay inside. The normal people who are already living within the barrier are being given a chance to leave. Kenjaku himself will escort them outside, and once they leave, it will feel like they were just dreaming. Sasaki asks if this is all a dream. Kenjaku replies that this is a world between dreams and reality. Something like a curse. Sasaki decides to leave, and Kenjaku takes her outside. On the way, he tells her, "Thank you for being friends with my son." She doesn't understand what he means. Suddenly, she wakes up, and she's already outside the barrier. There she meets her friend Iguchi, who was also a member of their occult club. We see many normal people gathered outside. Kenjaku had removed all of them from the barrier. In front of them stands a massive black barrier. Kenjaku appeared in everyone's dreams, but the "my son" comment was said only to Sasaki, and that's when she remembers Yuji. Friends, Yuji is technically Kenjaku's son, because Kenjaku was inside his mother's body. Meanwhile, on the other side, Yuji Itadori and Megumi Fushiguro tell Kinji Hikari that Satoru Gojo has been sealed. Hearing this, Hikari is shocked. Then Panda reveals that Principal Yaga is no longer alive. Yuji and Megumi are shocked as well. They didn't know about this either. Panda explains that after the Shibuya incident, the higher-ups targeted Yaga. This news hits Yuji hard, because Yaga was like a father to Panda. Hikari also feels bad hearing this. The people who truly cared about him are no longer in this world. He wasn't even this upset when an arrow hit Yakel from behind. Hikari finally agrees to enter the culling game, but he makes it clear he's not doing anyone a favor. He wants something in return. Panda knows that Hikari wants to change some jujutsu regulations, so he can run his fight club openly. Since normal people are now learning about jujutsu, some laws are bound to change anyway. Megumi says that whatever Hikari wants, he'll make it happen, because he is now the head of the Zenin clan. Hearing this, Hikari is even more shocked. To him, this news feels even bigger than Gojo being sealed, or Yaga's death. Hikari starts thinking that if the Zenin family supports him, he could push through any rule changes. He looks at Megumi and says, "Idiot, we should totally become friends." Poor Hikari doesn't even know that Maki Zenin has already wiped out the entire Zenin clan. There's basically no one left. Now the group begins discussing which colony each of them should enter. At that moment, a Shikigami appears before them. Its name is Kogain. It has come to inform them that a player named Kashimo has used 100 points to add a new rule to the culling game. The new rule allows any player to see another player's full information, their name, their current points, and which colony barrier they are in. Kogain explains that he is Yuji's informant and will provide him with all the information related to the game. Hearing this, Megumi Fushiguro is shocked. Yuji hasn't even officially entered the game yet, so how did Kogain appear before him? That means Yuji is already registered as a player. They quickly realize that Sukuna must be behind this. 1,000 years ago, Sukuna likely made a contract with Kenjaku, just like the other ancient sorcerers did, agreeing to participate in the culling game if Kenjaku revived them in the future. But Megumi doesn't understand one thing. Eating Sukuna's finger was Yuji's decision, which allowed Sukuna to awaken inside him. Or, was that also part of Kenjaku's master plan? Either way, they begin checking the list of players. That's when they discover Hajime Kashimo, who has already earned 200 points. That means he has eliminated at least 40 players. Megumi starts thinking, if they can convince Kashimo to add another new rule, then they wouldn't have to kill anyone themselves. He asks Kogain how many players currently have over 100 points. Aside from Kashimo, there is only one more player, Higuruma. Megumi's plan is to make players like Tsumaki innocent participants able to leave the game willingly. But first, they need to deal with rule number 8, which states that if a player's points don't change for 19 days, they will be eliminated. So they decide to add a new rule. Players can transfer points to each other. This way, they can share points and avoid killing anyone. The second rule they want to add is that a player can spend their points to leave the game. Hikari argues that such a big rule might end the game entirely, and the game master may not accept it. Megumi replies that they'll add a condition. If a player exits the game, they must send a replacement into the barrier. Now their plan is clear. They need to find Angel, the one who can free Satoru Gojo from the prison realm. At the same time, they must find Kashimo and Higuruma. to convince them to add the 2 new rules. However, they can't find Angel's name in the player list. Panda suggests that Angel might be using a different real name, but Tengen had told them that Angel is in Tokyo Colony number 2. Hikari asks what Angel looks like. Megumi responds, "When you see her, you'll know." Hikari decides that he and Panda will go to Colony number 2. Meanwhile, Yuji, Itadori, and Megumi will enter Colony number 1, and Kirara will remain outside the barrier. Since Kashimo appears to be the strongest player, Hikari will likely have to fight him. Panda will use his sharp senses to track down Angel. Kirara asks why she isn't going with them. Hikari explains that ever since Yuta Okatsu entered a barrier, he hasn't been able to contact them. That means once someone enters the barrier, their connection to the outside world is completely cut off. So someone has to stay behind to keep track of what's happening outside. Yuji didn't want him and Megumi Fushiguro to enter the same colony. He was afraid that Sukuna might do something to Megumi, but Megumi reassures him that nothing like that will happen, and that Kinji Hikari's plan is the right one. The next day, November 12th, they all arrive at the barrier. Kobain explains that the culling game is active inside the barrier. If they enter, they will officially become players. Yuji, Itadori, Megumi, Hikari, and Panda all agree. Inside Colony number 1, we see a woman named Hanyu talking through a walkie-talkie to a boy named Rin, asking how much longer it will take. Rin is looking up at the sky, waiting for something. Hanyu activates her cursed technique. Her hair transforms into jet engines, and she begins flying like an airplane. Outside the colony, Yuji and Megumi were discussing strategy. Megumi says they need to be cautious of ancient sorcerers. To them, human lives have no value. 1,000 years ago, people fought for fun. That's probably why they made contracts with Kenjaku and agreed to participate in the culling game. Both Hajime Kashimo and Hiromi Higuruma seem like ancient sorcerers, so they won't agree easily. Yuji adds that they also need to watch out for cursed spirits, especially at night. Megumi says the modern sorcerers, people like Tsumaki who were forced into this, might cooperate with them, so their first goal is to find Higuruma. They enter the barrier together, but the moment they do, they are separated and begin falling from the sky. Whenever a new player enters the game, they drop from above. There are 9 fixed entry points, and a player can land at any of them. This detail wasn't written in the rules. Some players were already camping at these 9 spots, waiting to eliminate newcomers. Rin spots Yuji falling from the sky and gives the signal. Hanyu flies in and crashes into Yuji midair, and both of them slam into a building. The impact severely injures civilians nearby, but surprisingly, Yuji is completely fine. Hanyu realizes Yuji is incredibly strong and calls her partner, but Yuji throws a rock at her, and she drops from the sky like a kite with its string cut. Her partner Haba arrives. His cursed technique turns his hair into helicopter blades. Haba gets angry at Yuji for knocking Hanyu down. Meanwhile, Yuji was planning to ask them about Higuruma. From a distance, Rin watches and recognizes Yuji. On the other side, Megumi had already defeated a girl who attacked him first. He's worried about Yuji's location. This colony is even larger than the Shibuya barrier. They could be 2 kilometers apart, but their objective is the same. Find Higuruma. Back to Yuji's fight. Yuji grabs Haba's leg and slams him to the ground. Haba realizes Yuji is extremely strong. Since Haba attacks only using his spinning blades, Yuji runs inside a building. Haba slices through the building trying to reach him. Yuji lands a heavy punch on Haba's head, making him dizzy. Haba still refuses to give up, so Yuji kicks him between the legs, knocking him unconscious. Yuji wonders how he's supposed to ask him about Higuruma now. Suddenly, Rin appears behind him. He says he knows where Higuruma is, and that he recognizes Yuji. In high school, Yuji was nicknamed Tiger. Hearing that, Yuji realizes Rin is from his hometown, Sendai. Rin starts leading Yuji somewhere. Yuji asks if Hanyu and Haba were his friends. Rin says he was forced to work with them, or else they would have eliminated him too. According to Rin, Higuruma is in a place called Ikebukuro. Meanwhile, the girl Remi tells Megumi that she also knows where Higuruma is, but she'll only tell him if he becomes her knight and protects her. Megumi warns her, if she's lying, she'll face consequences. Megumi isn't like Yuji. If he has to kill to gain points, he won't hesitate. He also realizes Remi is a modern sorcerer, not an ancient one. Remi explains that normal civilians were given a chance to leave the barrier, but sorcerers who were already living there weren't given that option. For them, the culling game started 12 days earlier. If they don't fight, they'll be eliminated. Everyone is just trying to survive. Megumi understands something important. Not only ancient sorcerers, but modern sorcerers can also be dangerous. And Yuji doesn't know that yet. Finally, Remi claims that Higuruma is in the Shinjuku area, so now both Yuji and Megumi have been given completely different locations for Higuruma. Who's telling the truth? And who's lying? We'll find out in the next episode. Don't miss it. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to like and share. Comment below and tell us how you felt about this episode. And if you're new to the channel, subscribe and press the bell icon. I'll see you very soon in the next video.